Hello and welcome to a new video. In this video I want to showcase you the Retribution Paladin on the PTR of Mists of Pandaria. In this video I'm going to show you talents, glyphs and the rotation of Retribution Paladin and my conclusion about the class in Mists of Pandaria. So let's dive in. The Retribution Paladin in Mists of Pandaria is a proc-based playstyle and it uses builder and spender abilities. You want to build up holy power and spend it on your hard hitting spells. I will go more in detail how this works later on. Now for talents. For your talents, you want to go either Speed of Light or Pursuit of Justice in your first row. Speed of Light is an active ability which increases your movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds. Pursuit of Justice gives you 15% movement speed at all times. In addition, it gives you 5% movement speed for each current charge of holy power you use up to 3, so every time you spend holy power you get more movement speed. On the second row you want to go Fist of Justice to reduce the cooldown of your Hammer of Justice by a lot. On the second row you want to go Selfless Healer. This allows your Judgment spell to reduce the casting time and the mana cost of your next Flash of Light by 35% per stack, and it's also 20% more healing. This also stacks up 3 times. On the fourth row, you can either go Unbreakable Spirit or Clemency. Clemency gives you 2 charges of your hand spells like Hand of Freedom, Hand of Protection and Hand of Sacrifice, and Hand of Salvation as well. Unbreakable Spirit is a personal cooldown which reduces the cooldown of your Divine Shield, Divine Protection and Lay on Hands by 50%. On the fifth row, you can either go Sanctified Wrath or Divine Purpose. Divine Purpose is something you should consider later on in later phases when you have a tier set with 4 set pieces to make this more effective. For now, at the beginning, I suggest Sanctified Wrath. This reduces the cooldown of your Hammer of Wrath spell by 50% and it also makes your Avenging Wrath to last 50% longer. For your last row, which is not available on the PTR right now, you can go Light's Hammer as an AoE spell for AoE situations, or mainly Execution Sentence. This is a really big cooldown, which I will explain later on. For glyphs, you want as your major glyphs, Glyph of Inquisition, which helps out your leveling because it increases its effect after every killing blow. You can swap this later on for Glyph of Hand of Sacrifice to remove its downside by redirecting damage to you. For your second glyph, you want to go Glyph of Double Jeopardy. This allows your judgment to hit 20% more on a different target on a second cast. For your third major glyph, you want to go Glyph of Templar's Verdict. This reduces all damage you take by 10% after you use Templar's Verdict or Exorcism. For minor glyphs, you can take whatever you want. Now for your playstyle. The MoP Retribution Paladin plays with holy power and it can stack up to 5 holy power. It's pretty much proc-based playstyle and your main goal is to stack up your holy power, keep your self buffs like Inquisition up, and then use your Templar's Verdict to funnel your holy power into a big finisher move. Your self buff Inquisition requires up to 3 holy power to increase your holy damage by 30% and your crit chance by 10%. The more holy power you spend, the longer it holds. You should monitor this buff with a WeakAura to keep it up all the time. I will link you one down below in the video description. Your finisher, Templar's Verdict, uses up 3 holy power to do 330% weapon damage plus a flat amount. Your Hammer of Wrath becomes activatable at 20% health, as well as during the complete duration of your Wings Avenging Wrath. Your Exorcism is an instant cast and its cooldown can be reset with your auto attacks. You will also have access to Execution Sentence, a powerful 1 minute cooldown, which falls down 10 seconds on an enemy. All the damage you deal during this time will stack up and will release on a big explosion on its impact. This can also snapshot buffs from wings, pots, trinkets and so much more. On the PTR, the spell is not available for me yet because of my level of 85. You can also cast this on an ally to heal him for pretty much the same effect. Your Seal of Truth is your single target seal, your Seal of Righteousness is your seal for AoE. You can use Seal of Justice for PvP. For your rotation. As an opener, you use Judgment and Exorcism by running to the boss, followed up by Crusader Strike. With your 3 holy power, you activate Inquisition for your damage self buff. Now you use Guardian of the Ancient Kings and Avenging Wrath as your big damage cooldowns. Use Execution Sentence followed by Hammer of Wrath, Crusader Strike, Judgment and Exorcism. At 3 Holy Power, cast Templar's Verdict. Monitor your procs and activate your spells to increase your Holy Power and spend it with Final Verdict. Hammer of Wrath is your hardest hitting builder spell, so prioritize it. On AoE scenarios, you can use Divine Storm as your spender instead of Final Verdict. You also want to maintain Seal of Truth to stack it on all targets by alternating your melee attacks, and you want to cast Hammer of the Righteous instead of Crusader Strike for AoE damage. Alternate your targets as well of Judgment because of your Glyph of Double Jeopardy. On 4+ targets, make sure to swap your Seal to Seal of Righteousness for more Seal damage at all targets. Also remember to use your defensive cooldowns like Divine Shield to make you completely immune against damage and spells on specific raid mechanics, and you can also use Divine Protection to reduce all magical damage you take by 40%. You also have Devotion Aura, a 3-minute cooldown, which grants immunity to silence and interrupt effects and reduces all damage taken by 20% for your whole party and raid. For consumables, for flasks and elixirs, you want to use a Flask of Winter's Bite, which increases your strength by 1000. For food, you want to use black pepper ribs and shrimps or fluffy silk feather omelette. For potions, you want to use the potion of Mogo Power. Also make sure to combine this with Avenging Wrath and your Guardian of the Ancient King buff, and as well with your Execution Sentence to snapshot its damage. As professions, your best profession is Engineering for the Synapse Springs and Nitro Boots. And your second profession would be Tailoring for Swordguard Embroidery. You also have a lot of utility spells like Hand of Freedom to remove movement impairing effects, Hand of Sacrifice to reduce damage taken by 30%, Hand of Protection to make someone immune against physical damage, Hand of Salvation to remove threat completely from a party member, and of course, as always, Lay on Hands for a big heal, and Cleanse to remove poison and disease. So, what is my conclusion about Retribution Paladin in Mists of Pandaria? I like the builder and spender gameplay, which is a retail gameplay version of Red Paladin. You have a lot of procs to monitor, but it's not that hard to play the class. Damage wise, Red Paladin is more of in the middle field of DPS, and as in all iterations of World of Warcraft, your support is a good gimmick for your raid. So, let me know in the comments down below what you think of Retribution Paladin in Mists of Pandaria and if I missed anything. Thanks for watching, and if you found this useful, consider to like and subscribe for more World of Warcraft content.